Good morning, everyone. Today, the official opposition NDP are proud to introduce legislation calling for no more HVAC scams in Ontario. I'm Terence Kernaghan, MPP for London North Centre, an official opposition critic for economic development, job creation and trade. I'm proud to be joined by my colleagues, MPP Tom Rakocevic, MPP for Humber River Black Creek, Catherine Fife, MPP for Waterloo, and Butila Karpoche, MPP for Parkdale High Park. HVAC scams persist because unethical companies use NOSIs, or notices of security interest, after installing and financing consumer goods like water heaters, furnaces, air conditioning units, even home automation devices. These NOSIs, often registered without the homeowner's knowledge, become liens against someone's property title and allow these companies to pocket a chunk of someone's property value. For years and years, insidious scam artists have used high-pressure tactics, getting homeowners to sign horrible finance contracts that often last longer than the lifespan of the unit, compound interest year over year, and have a buyout price that no one would ever agree to under any normal circumstance. A simple unit, which costs hundreds of dollars, becomes tens of thousands in many of these cases. Worse yet, homeowners don't even find out about NOSIs until they refinance or sell. Now they have a lien on their title of their home because of these predatory contracts. Despite years and years of horror stories from so many, this government has done little to nothing to help the victims of these scams. My colleagues and I are proud to introduce powerful legislation to end the disgraceful practice of HVAC scams, which target and victimize vulnerable seniors, people living with disabilities, and those with language barriers, such as newcomers. Today, we're going to hear from family and advocates of people who've fallen prey to these scams, as well as those who support this legislation, like the Advocacy Centre for the Elderly. During this affordability crisis, it's never been more clear. The government must act today to protect people from HVAC scams. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Linda Palmieri. Linda is a constituent of Tom Rakocevic, our critic for consumer protection. Linda, thanks so much for being here today.
I'm here today as a family member, speaking on behalf of my in-laws, who've been victim to multiple accounts of NOSI fraud. In 2015, my in-laws were manipulated into a small appliance sale, a furnace and air conditioner unit. A sale they understood was with a reputable company and told under government recommendation. The sale from that initial contract, in which a NOSI clause was included in the very fine print of the contract, put them onto a fraud list in which their names and identities have been swapped, sold, and essentially trafficked out to other fraudulent companies. This has gone on for 6 years. My in-laws, in the final stages of their life, have 12 liens on their home. They are fighting out of pocket to get those liens and those companies off their mortgage and for the security of their home. They are a shadow of themselves, unable to sleep, eat. We need the provincial government to not only pass legislation to ban all NOSIs moving forward, but to amend the legislation in order to wipe NOSIs from the books completely. And we're counting on them to do that. The damage have been done, and we need the Ontario government to step up now.
Thank you so much, Linda, for sharing your family story with us. I think every MPP in this House has heard at least one story of this abuse of the system. It's time for us to state enough is enough. Next, I'm going to pass it over to Sarah Tella and Bethany Pescudo, staff litigation lawyers at the Advocacy Centre for the Elderly. Sarah and Bethany.
We are honored to be here today to speak on this very important topic. That is something we have been seeing in our everyday work here at ACE. The proposed bill is a step in the right direction. Here at ACE, we receive hundreds of calls yearly from vulnerable older adults all over Ontario who are surprised to discover that they have a NOSI, or sometimes even multiple NOSIs, registered on their property. It is incredibly easy to register a NOSI and can be very difficult to remove a NOSI from title. There is a lack of oversight, and anyone can register a NOSI. If you have a Terranet account, it's an incredibly simple process. The simple fact is that it's very easy to place a NOSI on a property, and there's often no easy way to get rid of the NOSI. And for older adults, finding out that they have a NOSI is a huge problem in situations where they want to sell their home or refinance a mortgage on their home. They are often facing tight time pressure, and lenders and purchasers often require NOSIs to be removed from title before finishing the transaction or refinancing. We are seeing older adults all over Ontario paying big and unfair amounts to discharge the NOSI, and this is especially a problem as many of the older adults have their homes, and that's their main asset. So this is a huge problem we're seeing every single day at ACE.
We are seeing rampant abuse of the system. Unfortunately, the situation faced by Linda's in-laws is not unique. We have, as Sarah mentioned, hundreds of calls a year from people in the same situation. We have clients with 14 NOSIs registered on their homes. We have clients where the same company has registered 3 NOSIs for the same product, such as a furnace. And unfortunately now, unless the company or person who registered the NOSI agrees to remove it, the only avenue to remove it is through litigation, which for these low-income seniors is prohibitively expensive and time-consuming. Often these seniors don't know that these NOSIs are registered on their homes for many years. Perhaps after they pass away, that their children are left to deal with the NOSIs on title, or perhaps the police come by and notify them that they've been defrauded. So these NOSIs are sitting on title for a really long time undiscovered. This is a serious issue that needs to be addressed, and something that ACE is really looking forward to the government addressing.
Thank you so much for being here, Sarah and Bethany, and thank you for the work that you do. It's time that we take away the power from scammers and close this legal loophole. I'm pleased today that we're going to table a powerful solution that will protect seniors now and into the future, as well as providing relief for those who've been duped by one of these hideous scams. I look forward to the government listening to seniors and dealing with this problem immediately. Let's protect the wallets of people today. Let's get this bill expedited through the House so that no one, and I mean no one, will face this scam alone. The official opposition NDP will always fight for more for Ontarians. Thank you, and I'm open to questions.
Has anyone tried to pass legislation on this before?
There was legislation that tinkered around the edges once upon a time, but nothing that has addressed the problem of these rampant NOSIs and liens. You know, according to the government's own study, 38,000 people received a NOSI in 2022 alone. So what's happening right now is unfair. It's not right, and the government must act.
And we'll get your bill later this afternoon?
Yes, it will be tabled in the legislature after 3 o'clock. Thank you very much, everyone, and thank you for our presenters here today.